My name's Natasha Bamblett. I'm a proud First Nations woman and I'm here to acknowledge country. Hello, beautiful friends. We gather on the lands of the Aboriginal people. We thank, acknowledge and respect the Aboriginal people's land that we're gathering on today. Take pleasure in all the land and respect all that you see. She's on the Money podcast acknowledges culture, country, community and connections, bringing you the tools, knowledge and resources for you to thrive.
She's on the
Money.
She's on the money.
Hello and welcome to She's on the Money, the podcast that's here to show you that investing isn't just for the rich. It is for you too. I'm your host, Victoria Devine, and recently one of our very own team members gave us a little peek into her investing diary. Yes, she makes our TikToks, builds our courses, and is responsible for the chaotic memes that you see on our feed. But plot twist, she's actually a very seriously impressive investor. You loved that episode and our DMs blew up for more. So I flew her over back from Perth. And because I'm all about giving our community exactly what they want, Brooke is back today. And this time we're getting pervy on the shares and ETFs on her watch list. So Brooke, welcome back to the show.
Hello, divas.
I'm very excited about this. We're also going out for dinner after this. So
I know. I've actually re-looked at the menu.
Have you picked everything that you want?
We're going out for a fancy dinner.
Yeah. It was how I got her to come from Perth to Melbourne.
I'm in the correct time zone. I got up at 5 a.m. We're here, but it's worth it.
I love it. All right. Before we dive into this, I feel like we need to be responsible human beings. And just like the last episode you and I did, we probably need to do a little bit of a disclaimer. So past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance. And the advice that is being given isn't actually advice.
No.
We're just two girls having a yap. Guys, I'm a retired financial advisor, not a current financial advisor. So everything that I say and do has to be taken with a grain of salt. We are sharing information that is available at the time of recording. Something could happen tomorrow and we drop this episode and you go, well, that share price isn't accurate.
Yes.
So please don't take what we're saying as gospel because as we know, in the world of investing, things can change literally overnight. And I think that it is a very important thing that we kind of stay on top of that. So these are just our personal thoughts and feelings. And Brooke might say her favorite color is blue, but you go, well, my favorite color is red. And that doesn't really matter. We're just having a chat, right? Lucky you're wearing red today though.
I know. And I have blue nails. So it all works.
So everything is matchy-matchy. Before we jump in and get started, I need to know, how do you personally like to research? Because I feel like this is the number one question, or not the number one, but one of the number one questions we get. People are like, V, you say do your research. What the heck does that mean? How do you keep up with the share market?
I think for me, I pretty much only invest in things that I'm interested in. So the things that I care about are pretty much—
Crude oil.
Yeah, crude oil is number one. What do you mean? I love fuel. No, if things don't interest me, I'm not going to research them. If it's boring, why would anyone research it? So it's more so just looking at industries I'm really interested in. So say it's the tech sector. Well, I'm following the news in the tech sector. And if I hear a company mentioned a couple of times, I might go then search it and see how its shares have performed in the last 5 years. Obviously, past performance is not an indicator of future performance, but sometimes it can tell you a lot about, if they've grown X amount in 5 years.
And it's been sustainable.
Yeah,
over that
what are they
period of
doing?
time,
And then you can look in, you can read up about those companies. You can do a little Google on TikTok, see if anyone's talking about them, read their annual reports.
I love the TikToks.
Yeah, because people are really interested in so many random things. So someone else besides you is definitely interested. So if you search it up, there's probably someone that's made a video about it and you can just watch, learn a bit, and then learn a little bit more.
Exactly. And I think obviously don't take TikToks as gospel, but I don't know about you, Brooke. I find that TikTok seems to be my number one search engine.
Yes.
I want a new vacuum. Cool. I'm looking it up on TikTok first to see what other people think and
Get a
want to see
robot
a video. Yeah, exactly. The amount of robot vacuum videos that I have watched recently is kind of unhinged. That and duck videos. But what does it take for something to go from you being, I'm kind of interested in that. I'm looking it up on TikTok. I'm looking it up online. I'm Googling it. I'm reading their reports to actually going, I'm going to put some money where my mouth is. I want to make an actual investment. How do you do that?
Yeah. So, I guess it depends. I'm sure we'll do another episode on core versus satellite, but it's a different approach for both. So if I'm looking at an ETF, I feel less concerned about researching it really, really, really heavily because it's quite low risk. Whereas if I'm looking at a direct share, I'm researching it heaps and then I'll pop it on my watch list, and I pretty much will never buy something within 24 hours of putting on my watch list. I'll put it on my watch list. I'll wait a couple of months.
Shopping rules apply to investing.
Yeah, the shopping rules apply to investing for sure. And it's going to be things that I'm actually interested in. So say it's like a random shop, let's say we're looking at Bunnings. If I'm interested in Bunnings, I add Bunnings to my watch list.
You'd add Wesfarmers.
Yeah, well, I don't know what, perfect. So say I add Wesfarmers to my watch list, I'll wait a couple of months, I'll go back and check. And if the stock price has gone up a little bit and their annual reports are still looking good, their price to earnings ratio is good, I might go, okay, maybe this is something I'm interested in. Put a little bit of money in. I would never dump heaps of money in. Put a little bit of money, test the water, and then go, okay, I feel comfortable. Everything looks good, and continue on.
Yeah. And I feel like that's my strategy as well. And I think a lot of people historically, when I've talked about that, go, but it's increased in price, Brooke. Do you still want it? And it's kind of like, I'm actually happy to buy in at a slightly higher price if because I feel like it's still going to be sustainable. Like I don't want to go back in time and then realize I made a terrible investment because I was getting FOMO and I just wanted to put my money where my mouth was ASAP.
Yeah.
So I think it's an important thing to not, I guess, get worried about increasing share prices because the right time to invest is the right time for you, not the right time for the market.
And you can't time the market. So I'd rather get in now when it's maybe $1 more than it was last week, but then in 10 weeks, it might be $10 more. So I should be happy that I got in when I got in.
Yeah.
And we're going time in the market.
We're not chasing the lowest lows or the highest highs. Like we're just girls. We can't.
We're happy with the
time
average.
Exactly. All right. Should we start maybe talking about our ETFs?
Yes.
When you add an ETF to your watch list, what are you actually looking for? Like, are we looking at distribution of different companies? Are you looking at a particular sector because that's interesting to you? Like, are you just looking for a top 200? I feel like there's so many different ETFs.
Yep. I think for ETFs, there's definitely the two different realms you can go down, which is like the index fund side of things, the average of everything, or a thematic ETF. And in recent times, most of my core portfolio is like index ETFs and managed funds. But in recent times, I've been dabbling a lot more in thematic ETFs because there's so many different sectors that obviously are in those other ETFs, but they're really interesting to me and I think they're growing really rapidly.
Backtrack. A lot of people are going to be like, girl, we'd only just started to dabble in ETFs. What the hell is a thematic ETF?
What is a thematic ETF?
That sounds scary.
Yep. So a thematic ETF. So let's go with, for example, what my first one would be that's on my watch list is the Crypto Innovators ETF. So it's an ETF entirely around the crypto industry, but it's not Bitcoin, it's none of those. It is companies that are building infrastructure for that. So platforms that you would buy crypto on, that would be in a thematic ETF for crypto, like different infrastructures surrounding that topic. So then you might go get like a beauty ETF and it's all beauty companies. Or like search engine ETF. Like there is an ETF for everything, but
so
they're really niche
basically
down.
Just means niche sector. It's not like a top circle. 200. Yep. It's a like industry specific ETF.
Like if you were going to go for like a fruit salad ETF, it would just have fruits in it. It's going to have no vegetables. Like that's what a thematic ETF is. It's just those small things
quite specific.
Tick those boxes. And they're typically made by a bunch of different companies. Like Beta Shares do some, Vanguard do some, iShares?
Yeah,
iShares.
Yep.
So heaps of companies do them and there is a thematic ETF for everything.
And I think that's where, and not to try and sell thematic ETFs, but you might go, oh, well, I want an ETF and I've maybe gone and bought like the high growth Vanguard top 200, whatever.
BDHG.
Yeah. And we are excited about that. But then you're like, but I want to be really specific. Maybe I should hold tech.
Yeah.
And then you get a little bit confused and you're like, maybe I should like go and like do some research into tech companies. Yep. Maybe if you're an ETF girly, like we kind of are, we're not doing specific research into the individual companies we could research. We're doing research into a thematic ETF where you kind of go, all right, so I know that I'm interested in tech. And I think that that's going to be good for my portfolio, good for my personal interests. I'm going to get a professional who's picked literally every...
And it's their full-time job.
Yep, every tech company in that. So I can say, I've got exposure to tech. That's what I wanted. That's what I'm interested in. But the person who's picked all of those individual companies...
really knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
you'd hope.
It diversifies your risk as well. So say you're investing in one tech company, your risk for that company is 100%. You've got one. Yeah. So if it fluctuates, if it goes down, okay, well, all your portfolio is going down. But if you're investing in a tech ETF that's got 20 companies in it, your risk per like share is 5%. So it's those 5 companies. If one goes down, well, the other 19 might be up. You don't know. So like it kind of helps you with that diversifying as well. So if you're a bit scared to do direct shares, it's like, okay, well, you can just still pick a thematic ETF and it's kind of like a direct share just with a little bit less risk, but also it's still quite risky.
Yeah. And I feel like in 2025, with the changing nature of technology, social media, I used to pick. So back when I was giving financial advice, I used to have basically all of my clients that had an investment portfolio with me owned direct shares, and we would hold between 8 and maybe 12 direct shares. We would diversify in that. But I feel like now, because it moves even more erratically, personally, I've moved away from that. So my old investing portfolio used to be, I think, 11 different shares. And then I started picking up an ETF. And I mean, that was my first investment, but it kind of went to the wayside when I thought I knew better.
Yep.
And then now I would say 90% of my portfolio is just different ETFs. I've got one specific ETF that takes up 50% of my portfolio because I go, sorry.
Yep, I trust this.
Vanguard High Growth. Love you. Like, you're just making me feel safe. Like,
yeah, it aligns with your goals and you don't, it's not low risk, but it's like you really trust what's in there.
Yeah.
So you can put it in there and not have to stress as much.
And like, my investing goals are long term.
Yeah.
I'm not here to try and find the next unicorn that shoots the lights out and makes me really rich, because the probability of that happening is incredibly low.
And it's gambling. Like at that point it's gambling. You're looking for that tiny little lotto ticket, but you're not going to get that. So with ETFs, it's low and slow, and that's what we're doing.
So I asked you to come with a list of your ETFs and shares that are on your watch list. And I want you to tell me, like, what's the first cab off the rank?
It was mentioned in my investing diary because it's my best performing ETF, but I thought I would bring it back because
it's a good conversation.
The girlies want to know about it. And I mentioned it before, which is the Beta Shares Crypto Innovators ETF.
Yep.
With the ticker code CRYP, if you want to give it a Google. It offers exposure to global companies building the crypto ecosystem, including Coinbase, Riot Platforms, and MicroStrategy. So
it's not
It's not Bitcoin.
It's not
cryptocurrency.
crypto.
No.
It's the frameworks that are supporting cryptocurrency development.
Which I think is why I chose it, because obviously crypto is so risky, and I consider crypto a bit of gambling. I'm sure you do too. And I really wanted exposure to that industry, but I don't want to go buy Bitcoin because I don't think it really aligns with my investing goals. But if that industry is going to boom, all of the things around that, all of the things around
I don't want to miss out.
Are going to do well. So that's why it's on my watch list. I have been buying it for a little while and it's up pretty good. So I've kept it on my watch list, and every time I'm like, okay, well, I know it's going to crash because it's a very like niche thematic ETF. I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't trust it. It keeps going up and I think, gosh, maybe I am a financial advisor. So
I mean, it doesn't take much.
No,
really, like, look where I've come from.
I know. If you can do it, anyone can. The ETF though is incredibly high risk. So that
probably
is also something to know.
Not one that everybody's kind of going, oh, I'm really interested in that. But like, sorry, we're really pervy about individuals' investing journeys. Have you got one that's maybe a little bit more low risk on your watch list that we could dive into?
The next one I have is Global X FANG. It's Global X FANG Plus. The ticker code is FANG.
Yep, I own this.
It tracks an equal weighted index of 10 global tech giants, including Apple, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. So
I picked this because I wanted exposure to the international market and I didn't want a top 200.
Yeah, I think with like, obviously being Australian, we have ETFs in the ASX 200 and things like that. But I don't really like index investing in America because I don't really know those American companies. I don't really care about them, like the lower ones on the list.
But I want the big dogs.
But I want the big dogs. So having an ETF like this is good because you
FANG is really popular in our community for this reason.
You still get that exposure to those top companies that we know and use. Like all of those companies on the list, we all know, we either use, or we've all been in a Tesla, on an Uber, which we hated because we hate electric cars. But it gives you exposure. In 2024, the index returned over 50%, outperforming the broader S&P 500. So those 10 companies outperformed by 50%. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
And if you break down, like me being a bit nerdy, if you break down any of the top 200 ETFs, so like we always talk about diversifying your risk. And if you purchase a top 200 or a top 100 or even a top 500, right, you're getting exposure to all of those 200 companies. But most of the performance is actually driven by usually the top 20.
Yep.
So you'll see that they're blowing the lights out. But the thing is, you can't pick 100 companies and then I sit down with you and go, all right, Brooke, let's pick who's going to perform well this year.
You don't know.
You don't know. I wish I had like a magic crystal ball and could tell you because I'd be so rich.
I know.
I'd be so rich.
If you just pick companies that you know, like I know those companies, I kind of believe in what they're doing. So I can put my money where my mouth is and invest in something like that.
Yeah. So what's its performance look like more long term? Obviously, recently it's done really well, but we're always saying, look, that's really sexy, but we need to zoom out a little bit. What's its like 5-year performance
So
look
in
like?
5 years, it's up, get this, 158%.
I knew that because that's what mine's been performing
that's
at.
looking pretty good. Like I'm not mad about that. Call me an investor. So I haven't purchased this yet because I have so many I accidentally have too much overlap.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into that in another episode about what you do if you have overlap. But I have too much overlap in this sector, so I haven't invested in this yet. But year to date, it's up 4.62%. So it's not doing that well, but that means that there's still time for me to jump in. Because
but that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not bad because we're looking for the average over long term.
Yeah, and also I think it's important as well, these companies pay dividends.
Yeah, they do.
And they pay pretty consistent dividends, which is another reason why I am quite interested in this, because as much as performance is really good, and I think that we've really focused on that for this part of the episode. We haven't really talked about, dividend yield yet, but something that I'm looking at when I'm investing is like, I want to see good performance over time. I want them to see, I want to see consistent growth, but I also want to get paid. Like,
I don't care about dividends.
See, I do, because then I reinvest it straight in. Like my plan is any money that my investment portfolio makes, I have 100% dividend reinvestment plan on, and I don't pull it out. And for me, I'd go, well, that's kind of, it's secretly building in the background.
Yeah.
And me, like for FANG, for example, I know I want to continue to own that, but when I put my little packet of my investment money into my investment platform on a monthly basis, that doesn't actually go to FANG.
Oh, you're a monthly investor.
I'm a monthly investor.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Do you know why? And I think a lot of people would assume, Victoria must invest on a weekly.
I would have thought you would do a weekly.
I don't do weekly because I sometimes don't know what my income can be.
Okay.
So this is like the pervy stuff that I don't think anyone in our business knows about how I get paid. And do you know what? It's not a secret.
I don't know about your personal finances, but that's
but it's not a secret. No one's just asked.
Yeah.
But the way that my income works is I pay myself like a really base minimum wage. I can cover my bills, I can cover my stuff. Like my husband and I have a budget.
Yeah.
And then depending on what's happening that month in our business, like whether we've, for example, invested a whole heap in marketing or branding or, and we don't do these things that often, but
Never.
or we've hired someone new or we've, gone on a big work trip overseas.
Manifesting, everyone. Manifest with me. We're going on a big work trip overseas. Okay?
Sorry, I believe that you already have.
I know, I've got a presentation to show you tonight.
Okay. Whenever the girls, side note, whenever the girls want to go to
a conference
or something, which in our industry, because we're in podcasting and in finance, it's really niche. There aren't any conferences in Australia that are like, conference for finance content creators. They have to go overseas. And I say, sorry, if you really want to go to that,
you shall make a presentation.
I'll pay for it, but I want a presentation. What am I getting out of this?
You wait till you see it. It is a delight.
I'll share it with the internet. But when we talk about these things, that means that I go, I don't really want to personally add any financial burden to my business by taking out some money. And because I only know that 12
You're
times a year.
investing that back in the business instead of
that's
investing
actually
in your
my
portfolio.
priority.
Yep.
So my priority is actually reinvesting in the business and having that grow as opposed to my personal investment platform. So I only invest on a monthly basis. And some months I can be like, oh my God, I did really well. Maybe I've done an extra 6 speaking events. We've, done a whole heap of advertising on the podcast and we've launched a new course. I might go, okay, well, You've
got more budget to work with.
I'll take $5,000 this month because I really want to obviously still be self-sustaining. So something for me or something that I get quite anxious about, complete side note, is that
the business cash flow.
Not just business cash flow. How long's podcasting going to last?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm making hay while the sun's shining.
Yeah.
But I also need to make sure that if shit hit the fan, I'm still financially individually stable. So some months I might go, I'll take $5,000, and other months I'll go,
It's 100 for you.
And it's, some months I'm like, we're just going to do the bare minimum, Stephen.
and that's okay.
And I think that's okay. But for me, it's not
It's
about,
realistic.
Yeah, for me, it's not about like, oh, I have this plan and I stick to it. It's kind of like my priorities are first as a business owner and then second as an individual investor who can create individual wealth. Because like, hopefully by making that decision, my business will then in the future make more money and all of that, right?
Yes,
So
you're investing in other ways.
yeah, and so that's why it fluctuates. Like if you looked at my investment contributions, I think I did $1,200 last month total.
Yeah.
And that was just because,
That's all
as
you
you
can
know,
do.
we've invested a fair bit in lots of different things in the business.
So many exciting things coming
And
soon.
it's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just me. Like,
different priorities.
and we're so lucky, right? Like
Very.
I share quite openly like where our business cash flow is at with the team because we're a small team and I never want anyone to feel
we don't
as
feel in
though-
the dark. We feel like we know a lot.
Yeah, but I do that because I don't want you to go, oh, she's a small business. I don't want to ask for things, or she's a small business, you know, is my job secure? Like I want you to feel secure.
Yep.
And I'd prefer to be sitting on a fair bit of cash and just take a little
You're
bit
very
for my
transparent.
stuff. So last month, I think it was like $1,200 and then I added some more stuff from whatever that I had in my bank account
Yep.
from not spending because I didn't have time
you
last
go.
month. I was impressed, right? But then there have been months where I'm doing $5,000 or even $7,000
Yep.
because I'm like, okay, well, I
You've
feel
got that
comfortable
money to
taking that
spare.
out. Yeah. Does that, I feel like that gives good context
It
to the
does.
community as well because they would be like, she must invest every single week. No. Maybe one day when I feel a little bit more secure.
Yes. So what else is on your financial watch list?
I've brought a few niche ones and I haven't purchased these ones. I know that
Perfect.
on your watch list, you've got things that you're like, I'm still watching it because I'm still consistently investing in it.
Yep.
My investing plan is every single time I dump that money into my investment portfolio, it goes 50% to the one share that I, you know, have a lot of conviction in, and then I diversify, kind of drip feed it to the rest. These are shares that are on my watch list because I'm not sure if I want to buy in or not.
Okay.
So the first one is ASX ticker code MOAT.
Moat.
Yep. So it's VanEck Morningstar Wide MOAT.
Okay.
And I find this to be a relatively interesting share. So it's a US ETF that owns companies Morningstar. So Morningstar is like another
investing.
Beta Shares or Vanguard. They're very well known. So Morningstar is, you know, as reputable. I feel like we don't talk about it as much.
Yep.
But they believe that these companies have durable competitive advantages in investing. That's actually known as having like a really wide moat. So if you think about a castle, it's like a protective barrier. Thus the name of the share. And they think that those shares look undervalued. So they're kind of like, oh, we're going to go and like have a little bit
What's the ticker code?
MOAT.
MOAT. I had Googled the wrong one.
So basically, and you're going to love this, basically it follows the Warren Buffett style of investing.
Okay, and I
that
love
we've
the Warren
discussed
Buffett
before.
style
Yep.
investing.
So I think you'll be relatively interested in this.
Yep.
I would say it's a bit more of a like refined approach to equity investing. So like you're not buying based on the size or like the hype of a company. You're actually buying based on quality and price discipline, which is why I've still got it on my list because it's like not as shiny as like a FANG where you're kind of like, I know it, I get it. Like, but you will know some of the companies in here. So the portfolio is relatively dynamic and it has like, I would say a fair few household names. So it owns like Disney, it owns
Estee
Adobe,
Lauder.
Yep, Boeing, Pfizer.
Nike.
Yep. So there's a fair few, but then there are a whole heap
Of niche.
Yeah, that I've never heard of and that I can almost guarantee you've never heard of.
Well, that's kind of the thing that I don't really have in my watch list is things that I don't know because I feel like if I don't know it, I shouldn't trust it. But that's not true because some of the best performing companies are companies I don't know.
Well, the reason this came onto my radar, obviously, like I'll tell you about share price and performance, but the reason it came onto my radar was because of their investment style. And I'm a nerd, so I read.
You are?
Yeah, I know, right? Like I was reading the Financial Review the other day, or no, actually a couple of months ago. It's been sitting there for ages. But they were talking about the investment styles being adopted by different ETF companies. And this one fell under the Warren Buffett style of investing. And I was like, oh, that's relatively interesting because obviously I've said time and time again, I love that investing style. That's really
he's the
up my
best
alley.
investor in history, so we should enjoy that.
But if you'd shown me the list of companies,
You'd be
I would
like,
have probably been like, oh, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But because essentially their analysts are consistently looking for what they call moat strength, right? I think
I'm
it's
kind
so
of loving
funny.
the branding of all of this.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're selling it to me.
They define moat strength as like the brand power a company has.
Yep.
Switching costs,
Yep.
network effects, and cost advantages.
Yep.
And those that are then like weighted on their scale, and please don't ask me because I don't know what the hell their scale is. I've just trusted that because they're analysts, they know what they're talking about.
Yes.
The index then picks what they rate as wide. And then of those wide companies, it makes it to what Morningstar thinks is a fair trade value.
Yeah, interesting.
So they're not looking for companies like, you know, Apple, which is blowing the lights out. You're not going to find that on there because they're like, well, we actually
They're
probably
looking for long
think,
term.
yeah, but they obviously think that like that might actually be overvalued because it's got too much hype associated with it.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do things that
Can be bought at a reasonable price.
Boeing's boring.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Boeing
it's that,
actually
but it's
has
kind of interesting.
like a 11-year backlog or something. They have something like $6 billion on the wait list of how
But
many
no one's
pre-orders.
talking about it. But like as an investment, I'm sorry, they've got good cash flow coming up for the next 10 plus years.
Yeah, they got a duopoly.
That's a very cool word.
A duopoly. Well, because there's
duopoly.
only two main
it's
plane
true.
people.
It's very true.
Plain people.
But essentially, they are picking those companies, and then I trust those analysts to have picked companies
Yep.
that they're like, oh, if they think they're undervalued, that's going to be a better recommendation than Victoria Devine thinking it's undervalued.
And that's people are working on these ETFs and these managed funds full time. That's what I trust.
They're nerds. They live, laugh, love it.
I know, and we love that. We love a nerd.
Yeah, and they also rebalance the portfolio
Yep.
relatively consistently. So while it's been on my watch list, I've seen things drop off and come onto the ETF,
Yep.
which happens a fair bit in things like top 200s where they have to be like in the top 200 performing. But like this is more active than just,
Yep, and that's why you pay that management fee with an ETF or an index fund.
yeah. So essentially they
worth it.
rebalance on a pretty regular schedule. So holdings turn over as prices move and then ratings evolve. So it's not just like they're the top 200
And it's
they've-
going to stay there.
yeah, but also like the performance is the reason they're on that list.
Yep.
It's also like
There's
the
many
rating of their
factors.
moat, and they might go, oh, you're getting a little bit too popular.
I'm going to have to use the word moat now.
Well, do you know what's interesting as well? And this is where ETFs become a little bit more complex. If I buy it today, I'll get everything in that portfolio. But just because an ETF company drops it from your portfolio doesn't mean you won't like still hold it. Like they sell it on your behalf, but you're still having had exposure to that company.
Yep.
And then it will be switched with something that they think is actually a better option for
Yeah, like
you.
if you bought it today and I bought it tomorrow, we might actually be holding different things. Say if you sold it tomorrow, we would have held different things
Yeah.
with the same ETF.
because of the way that they transact and they
Yeah.
want to make sure that they're responsible about it. So in moat,
interesting.
they only have 54 holdings.
Yep.
And if we talk about share price, it's currently $124.83 per individual share, which I would say is actually relatively
So
expensive.
1.8% risk per company that it has.
Oh, look at you.
I've just done the maths for everyone.
Okay.
So don't worry, I
Good job.
didn't do
You've
that
got your
quickly in my
calculator
head.
out. Yes, and I feel like that makes me feel quite safe.
Yeah, because it's diversified.
Yeah,
And we
and
love diversification.
If we like look at its performance over a long period of time, I feel like me explaining this, I'm like, why haven't I bought this? Like, I'm like trying to tell
Are you selling
about-
it to yourself?
I think I'm selling it to myself. But also,
We should go shopping after this.
we should. Let's go to Mecca.
We're going to go on the ETF market.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's, yeah, as excited. It's interesting because like I'm also relatively hesitant because I do have a relatively ETF heavy portfolio. So when it comes to like adding another one, I'm like,
Is this
cool.
worth my investment?
Yeah. And also if I add it, what percentage am I doing? What am I diverting? Because it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm going to find an extra $150 a month or something to add
No.
this and consistently contribute. Am I dropping down something to add
Is
this?
it worth
Like-
it to replace something I already have in my portfolio with XYZ ETF?
Yeah, so the performance is really good.
Yep.
I won't say it's blow the lights out in the same way that
It's
you're
no
like,
fang,
no,
but that's for a reason,
its 10-year return has been 14.79%.
which is still above the market average, which in America is
above.
13% and in Australia it's like 11 or 9.
yeah,
Can't remember.
and 5-year performance is looking at 16.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah. And then over the last year it was 8.6, which is still better than inflation.
Yeah, but then it's like if people are like, oh, that maybe that's too risky for me. That's why we're okay with the average. That's why we're okay with a normal ETF that's like looking at the ASX 200 or the S&P 500.
And the income yield has been really good as well. So in addition to it increasing in value on average over the last 10 years, it has returned 3.47%.
Beautiful.
Which is just nice. Like, because that's in addition.
Yeah, that's not.
And then more recently, if we like go down to 5 years, it's 7.94%. So
Money maker.
I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy with that because, as I said before, like, I don't know, call me greedy. I want to get paid.
You're greedy.
Yeah, but like I
but that's
want to
your
get
style
paid.
of
I want
investing.
to
That's what you want.
hold, and I also want to collect, and I want that collection of my dividends to then be reinvested. So like the money that my money is making is being reinvested and making me more money, and like that's where I guess, you know, the magic of compounding interest comes from. Because right now, if I looked at your strategy, you do actually hold a lot of stuff that I hold, but you're not so interested in the dividends.
No.
Your compounding interest is coming from your regular contributions.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, I actually get 30 years in advance, and my dividends
Is your salary.
is my salary that I can reinvest, or I can go,
take it as-
she's happy, she's growing, I don't have to sell down a single share, and then all the dividends that get paid out on a monthly basis, I start living off.
Yeah, see, I think my
That's my
investing
plan.
strategy might change because we have a little bit of, not a big age gap, but a small age gap between us.
It's massive. It feels massive. She feels like a Gen Z.
I am a Gen Z.
I know, but like you feel like
I'm
one as
27,
well.
everyone.
She
but like,
feels like a Gen Z.
I feel like a Gen Z. I know all the slang. I'm a TikToker. Like what I think is my investing strategy is probably going to change as I get a bit older. As I'm getting closer to the mid-30s to the 40s, I'm sure my investing strategy will change.
Yeah, you kind of go, hold on. And I
My
think a
priorities
lot of
will
us,
shift.
yeah, I think a lot of us, when we have a really good investment portfolio, we become relatively protective of it. Like, I don't know, like if I like it, I don't want to have to sell something, especially if I know, I'm going to have to live off that investment portfolio one day. But like, what if it's still performing? Like, I don't want to sell something that's doing well so that I can pay my bills. Like, I want them to pay my bills.
Yep, that's your little
So
robot
that's my
working
little
for
like
you.
plan. So that's why I think whenever I'm looking at something, I'm like, well, what's dividend yield as well? And I think a lot of people in our community are going to be interested in that.
Do you have any more on your watch list?
Yes.
What
I
do
have
you
another one. I used to hold it was a Morningstar Asian All-Stars ETF. And that doesn't exist anymore. And I used to love it because it like had all of these Asian companies that essentially blew the lights out. And then they just decided we're not going to focus on that. We're going to re-diversify. So on my watch list is another Asia ETF because I want to get back into that sector. I do have like little bits and dribs and drabs, but like I want a specific Asia one. Because I don't know, everything
Asia
good
is
comes
so
out of China.
interesting. Yeah.
Sorry. Like basically everything we own.
Yep.
Where's it come from? Asia.
Yep.
So it's on my watch list. But the ETF that I have picked, the ASX code, get this, Asia.
Really?
I love that they got that.
You know what I do wonder? I don't know how this works. How do they get a ticker code? Do they have to apply? Is it like a
You
ABN? Like a
no,
username,
they
your
don't
Instagram?
get allocated. You can request a specific ticker code.
Oh my God, I love
because
that.
You might have seen different companies that have specific ticker codes
I
that
know.
aren't related to their name.
I know, and some of them are groovy.
Yeah, but they also have to be free. As in, if the ticker code exists with someone else, they're going to have to be a little bit creative. So every other Asia ETF is not going to be able to have that
Yeah,
Asia.
that is very groovy.
Yeah, anyway, I think that's cool. But it's owned by BetaShares. It's the BetaShares Technology Tigers ETF.
That's a beautiful name.
I think it sounds real cute.
It does.
But it is an ETF. Again, we're well
It
diversified.
excludes Japan.
It does, because Japan has very different performance goals, especially when it comes to I'll explain it and you'll go, oh, this makes sense. So it's got 50 different companies in it. So again, a bit of a smaller ETF, and it has 50 of the biggest tech and online retail companies across Asia, not including Japan.
Yeah, they have some very interesting companies. I'm just having a little
they've got
flick through now.
Samsung, they've got TSMC, they've got Tencent, they've got Alibaba, which I think a lot of us would have already heard of. And it's essentially a way to invest in global tech that's not just US.
Yeah.
So like I own FANG, and that gives me access to global tech that is American. So like the big dogs, we're talking Apple.
Has Kakao too, which is a Korean maps app, which is very cool. If you've been to Korea, you'll know Kakao.
But I think that's a
And
fun
Naver.
one. Yeah.
There's some very cool companies in there.
Yes. So essentially it covers really fast growing sectors. That's why it kicks out Japan because Japan's a little bit more, I would say, sustainable. Things
I thought Samsung was Japanese.
No.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Did that feel good?
Yes. But it has like e-commerce, as we said before, but like things like semiconductors and social media in Japan. Oh, sorry. Social media, not in Japan. Social media.
Yeah, because Kakao and Naver are two very massive platforms in Korea. So,
and also you've been to Korea.
I love Korea.
No Facebook.
No,
so they have to have
Facebook, no Google,
no TikTok.
No,
so they
have TikTok.
Do they actually have TikTok?
But it's a bit
China.
It's a bit weird. China doesn't have TikTok.
China doesn't have TikTok. But you want, like, when you start thinking about that, these are massive economies.
Huge economies.
Sorry, we all thrive on social media.
Yeah.
So what are they creating that I could get in on?
And they're like very intuitive, like those sort of systems like Kakao and Naver. You can pay for things through them. You can do shopping. You can book appointments. You can get like their equivalent of Uber Eats, and they're all on those systems. And I didn't know they existed until I was there, and I was like, wow.
But they're massive players in their market.
Yeah.
And you might not have heard of them because like you and I don't use them in Australia.
They're not on your like.
Yeah. But you're going to be surprised here. This ETF does not have good dividends.
Okay, that's fine for me because that's kind of what I look
but
for.
I think it's really interesting because, again, it gives you access to investments that are
just not on your radar.
Not on your radar, but also like have become on my radar. Like I'm such a nerd. I'm looking up. So like, and that, I don't even think it's nerdy. I think it's pervy. It's market research if it's free on the internet and accessible.
We love a gossip. So like looking at these sort of things is gossipy.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, give us the inside
scoop. And then I'm looking these companies up on TikTok and being like, what are other people saying about them?
Yep.
Just so I get an understanding of what the hell that ETF's made up of. Because like, not going to lie, the companies that you're talking about, I now know of because of this ETF, but I had no idea before because I've never been to Korea.
Yeah, they're not on your...
I've never experienced this.
No, and then like you look at things like Samsung. In Australia, like everyone has either an iPhone or a Samsung, but it's more on the iPhone side of things. But in a lot of Asian countries, it is Samsung, it's Androids, it's those sort of systems.
And
it's
low
like
key.
You want to be touching in that area because it's like, okay, otherwise I'm not going to have exposure to that because I only know this here.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this because I know that most people don't know this, but Samsung are actually suppliers to Apple for their internal tech.
Really?
A lot of the Apple's internal tech.
See, this is the kind of gossip we need.
Made by Samsung and then shared with Apple. So like, you know, not the patented stuff, but like just a lot of their tech, a lot of their batteries. Like there used to be, or there was a whole like thing on social media probably like 5 years ago where people would break open their iPhones and like find Samsung batteries and shit. Anyway, I think that's really interesting, but it's not a dividend yielding ETF. It's more of a growth focused ETF, which is why I'm interested in it because I'm still at that young phase of my like investing career.
Yeah, you've got time for that compound interest.
And I want the tea. I want to know what's going on. I feel like it's so interesting. So returns are more dependent on those businesses growing and increasing in popularity.
Which is my favorite style of investing.
Yeah. And like, I haven't invested yet. I'm being pervy on it because I'm interested, but I think it's also important to note that it is an unhedged fund. Yeah. So there's a number of currency risks that are involved and
hedged means that the currency risk is not involved.
Yes.
So it's based on
so currency risk applies to this. So essentially what that means is if the Australian dollar moves, it actually impacts your returns. And like that's something that
you have to factor in.
Yeah, we factor it in. And like I love something that's hedged, but I also love unhedged because sometimes it does give you better returns. And like these companies, when they're putting together an ETF, they're not like, oh, we can't hedge this.
Yep. Because some of them are hedged.
Yeah, they're more likely to say, well, we won't hedge this because, you know, it doesn't really matter and they're smashing the lights out anyway. So if currency risk is involved, like let's just put that back onto our individual investors because that's another layer of usually risk for them to take on because like they're hedging, but also another layer of fees because there's so much more like admin and organizing that they have to do. So they kind of look at it and go, well, maybe it's not worth it for that. So it's an emerging markets risk. Obviously, we know that Asian countries have, I don't know, there's just a lot going on with their government. There's a lot going on with regulation, a lot going on with political tension.
And they have such good food.
Yes, they do. They just know their shit.
We love
but
Asia.
I think it's important to note all of that because it does make this ETF a little bit more risky or like volatile.
Yep.
Share price though, You're going to be happy. My last one was relatively expensive.
What's this one?
It's $12.25.
I fear that's cheaper than a Big Mac meal.
It is. I don't have 10-year returns for you because it's actually only exists for the last 5 years.
It's a baby.
She's just a baby. And in the first 5 years, over the last 5 years, they've returned 8.03%, which is something that I wouldn't have been interested in.
But you see the future for it.
Sorry, last year, 30.3.
Okay. So if we zoom out, it doesn't look that good. But if we're zooming in a little bit, it does. I just had a little look and there was a dip in 2023. So I do wonder what happened there. But we're not going to look at that for now because we're thinking about the future because the past performance, that 5 years, it doesn't matter because that's not going to affect the future performance.
Yeah, so income has not been good.
No.
So like
that's why it's on your watch list.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of like, I make these rules up and like, guys, I've made them up in my head based on what I'm comfortable with and this is what I want you to do, not based on, oh, Victoria said you should.
No, you have to have your own metrics.
I want dividend yield because I feel like in a perfect world, like I pick all these shares and like I'm going to continue playing with it, but like I just want that dividend income to become my income one day.
Yeah.
So this share doesn't provide that. And I'm kind of like, am I going to give myself exposure to this in the short term? And then at what point, like, they don't have any information online about the fact that they might become dividend yielding.
Yeah, you don't know.
So I'm kind of like, oh, like how good if they are just in growth phase and then all of a sudden it will change. And that happens sometimes.
And that's the thing, like, investment, like ETFs and stuff are not set and they're not going to change their strategy.
Yeah.
It's going to grow and evolve with the different people that manage that portfolio.
Yeah, and that's where I want you guys to sit down and like you've done this, Brooke, but like sit down and go, okay, before I even look at like ETFs, what do I want out of this? And like for me, I want dividend yield. I want consistent growth. I'm happy if that consistent growth comes at the cost of dividend yield.
Yeah.
So like I'd prefer, like if you said, V, like what does your ETF perform? And I go, oh, it was like 9.5%. You go, but this one's 14. And I go, yeah, but this one also has dividend yield. And for me,
that's more important.
Like that over the long term fits into my investment strategy.
And then
a bit
I'm the
more.
opposite. I could not care less if I never got a dividend ever. If I just got really good growth yield, I'm like, Bob's your uncle. That's what I want.
So I think for me, it's sitting on my watch list still because income is not incredible, but total returns have been pretty good. I mean, over the last 1 month, it's done 7.95. Over the last 3 months, 9.12. Like she's been consistent now.
She's working overtime.
But I mean, in 2023, there was a dip. It was just because of like economic tension.
Yeah, but that's also also the factor that you have to consider.
Yeah. So let's probably stop talking about this because I could keep talking about it until the cows come home and we can take a little quick break. And when we come back, we're going to, maybe we'll go shopping. I'll open my app and you can open yours and we can look at our whole watch lists. And then we're going to get back into some more juicy stuff. But I think we should like pivot and talk maybe a little bit more about direct shares.
Ooh,
so the companies we are actually watching and might invest in.
Keyword might.
Individually. So guys, don't go anywhere. All right, we are back and I feel like you and I have investing strategies that are really based around ETFs and managed funds and we're not so much direct share girlies, but like, sorry, last time you were on the show, I was telling you about my failure
paradigm.
Share. Yeah.
I did Google that afterwards.
Did you? And did you see why I'm interested?
It wasn't looking good.
She doesn't look good,
No,
but like, sorry.
That's not my journey. That's not going on my watch list.
If you read all of their annual reports.
I won't be.
If you wanted to, you'd be impressed. Jess is also into Paradigm.
I know. That's what I giggled. I messaged Jess.
But I don't know if Jess is into Paradigm because I was into Paradigm.
I think it was like a you and Jess thing and it's not going to be my journey. I'm going to let you have that one, but I'm not interested.
You know what? That's good. And I think that people need to hear that.
Just because it's a different style of investing. And we can have differing opinions. And
guys,
that's why
it makes up less than 1% of my portfolio at this point.
I'm glad.
But Brooke, I want to know, do you hold any direct shares?
I own a heap of direct shares, mostly in America, some in Australia, all that jazz. But I have a rule with direct shares. I need to be personally interested because I don't have time to research a random company that I don't know and I don't care about. So my direct shares and anything that's on my direct shares watch list are pretty much companies I love and know. And if you know me, you know that I love Costco. I adore Costco.
Stop
Every
it.
country
That's what you've picked to share?
Yes, that's what I've picked to share.
Perfect.
Every country that I go to, I check before I go that there's a Costco. I'm going to Europe at the end of the year for 3 months. Please send me your tips. But me and my partner have already looked at all the different Costcos that we can go to. Went to Korea.
We are very
Costco.
lucky. We've been on a few overseas trips with work.
God bless.
Yeah, but every single time we go, we actually have to build in like either a morning or an afternoon trip for Brooke to Costco.
It's mandatory.
It's amazing.
I'm so passionate about Costco, especially because in America, Costco has other kind of competitors. In Australia, we don't really have Costco competitors. Costco is its own thing here. Whereas in America, there's Sam's Club, there's FedMart, like there's those sort of competitors. And it's just such an interesting like concept of a store that you're going to pay a membership to go to a grocery store. And for me, I love the membership. I pay that fee every year happily. I probably pay double, but it's on my watch list. I don't own Costco as a share just yet.
But it's on the watch list, but why? Like, we know what the company is. I think everyone listening knows what it is, but like,
Great pizza.
why are you interested in
Costco?
making an investment in Costco?
Wow. Well, when we think about it, Costco has an annual membership. So the annual membership fee in Australia is $65.
Consistent income, we love to see it.
It's consistent income for Costco. Regardless if I shop there, I still pay my membership fee. And so that $65 I pay is probably equivalent around the world. And they has 76.2 million paid members worldwide.
Stop it.
That is crazy.
So they don't even need to sell any $5 roast chooks.
And they have just the business model of Costco is really intelligent to me. So they have these things called loss leaders, which are their roast chook, which in Australia is like $5.99, but in America it's even cheaper. I think it's $4.90 or $3.99.
Yeah.
And they make it really cheap so that you will go to Costco to get that roast chicken because it's so much cheaper than everywhere else. They anticipate that when you go to Costco for that roast chook, well, you'll also pick up XYZ.
Yeah.
They have their hot dog, which is $1.99. You also get a drink with that. And
It's such a good deal.
people have tried to make the CEO put that price up of the hot dog because they lose money when they sell that to you. But he won't because it's such a bread and butter.
It gets people in the door.
It gets people in the door. And I look forward to going to Costco on a Sunday with my partner. I get a slice of pizza. He gets a hot dog. We get a roast chook and we get so many fun little things. It's like Costco's kind of like Kmart. You walk in not knowing what you need and Costco tells you.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Aldi.
Yep,
in
and
the way
IKEA
that they
all in
have
one.
like that center area.
It's
and it's
perfect.
always got something different that I didn't know I needed.
Yep.
It's really annoying because I end up spending so much money.
And it's worth it. But those membership fees, so that $65 you pay a year, membership fees brought in $4.8 billion in revenue.
Stop it.
So that's a major chunk of their net income, which is pretty impressive. Like, could you imagine you have to pay a grocery, like you go to your local grocery store and you need to pay $65 a year to shop there? People would think that was absurd, but for Costco, no one bats an eye.
No, that's crazy.
Yep.
So that's their like income, and income is great, but I want to know performance. Like, are they performing well? What does their share price actually look like? Because you could tell me, oh, they're earning billions fee, but then it also costs them billions and like their profit's like $1. Do you know?
Their profit's good.
So tell me about the business and why you go, oh, it's on my watch list as an actual investment, not just their income is sexy.
Well, over the last 5 years, Costco is up 176%. And
Do you think that that's driven by cost of living crisis and people turning towards bulk shopping?
No, I think that the people that shop at Costco are not doing it for the bulk idea. Like, I don't think they're doing it to save money. Like, obviously, I think the idea is that you would do that. But I think Costco shoppers are like Costco shoppers.
Yeah.
Like, I never check to see if something's cheaper at Costco.
Do
I
you
just
have
go
the
to Costco.
cilantro pesto that they have? It's called cilantro pesto because it's American. Otherwise, it's coriander
Cilantro.
pesto. It is so good.
I just think that the people that shop at Costco trust Costco, and Costco does their own sort of products as well. So they have Kirkland Signature, which is like their version of home brand. But their idea with Kirkland Signature is to make a product that is equal or better to the competitor in the market and cheaper. So they won't bring something out unless they can do it cheaper and better.
Smart.
So all of those sort of products do really well, and they're like some of the number one performing products in Costco because one, you can only get them at Costco. And two, they're cheaper than like the standard product. And people go for that. Like, people buy Kirkland Signature merch. Every year, Costco will come out with Kirkland Signature jumpers. I've considered getting the tracksuit. I've considered it. And that's because I'm a Costco loyalist.
Tracksuit, so you don't need another one.
No, I've got one really good tracksuit. So I don't need another one. I'm not in the market. But just,
I can imagine you wearing the hat though.
I would 100% wear the hat. Do you know Qantas gave me a hat yesterday?
Qantas gave you a hat?
Oh my God, I had
and
this.
they didn't make it to your watch list?
They didn't make it to my watch list. I don't believe in the brand on the watch list. But no, they gave me a hat. It was
So
lovely.
why haven't you bought it yet? You're obsessed with Costco. You obviously have got really great performance. Why haven't you bitten the bullet?
I genuinely just didn't consider it until like a couple of months ago when I was like looking at different companies to buy because I have like the regular things on my direct shares list. And then I thought, what would I buy? If I had to buy something now, if I could buy a share in that, and I thought, what are my favorite companies? Like, what is a company that I truly believe in? And that would be Costco. So I think within the next few months, I might pull the trigger on Costco, but I definitely own Costco in some of my ETFs. So I'm not too worried about having it. But I think in 20 years' time, Costco will still be doing good. So that's why I would buy it.
That's really fun.
Yes. So what is your direct share on your watch list?
So this is an Australian company.
Tell me about it.
That this is going to sound really bad, but I didn't care too much about before.
Yeah.
And then I had a baby and I was
You
like.
had a baby?
I know, it's crazy. I don't even believe
You should have
me.
mentioned him.
I'm a mom.
You're a mother?
I'm a mommy.
Mamacita?
Exactly. And I realized that going out for coffee every single day is not like viable. It's not that I can't afford a coffee every
Seems
single
that
day.
I will not be having a child then.
But I can't leave the house and my pod machine is just not cutting it anymore. So I took to the internet and I said, guys, like coffee machine recommendations, please. Yep. And like I got recommendations from like $100 machines from Aldi all the way up to like literally $30,000 at home, like gorgeous
Some
machines.
of them are very fancy.
I did not realize how expensive
there's a market
they would
for
get.
that.
And I was like, holy guacamole, there is a market in coffee machines.
Yeah.
And so
She's on the coffee machine.
Exactly. I picked a Breville.
A Breville?
I picked a Breville and I went with the Breville Oracle and low-key annoyed because I got it a couple of months ago and they've just come out with a new one.
Perfect. Always
way,
happens.
Right? So Breville
Look at them innovating.
Limited. It's on the ASX. Their ticker code is BRG and most of you would know Breville.
Yeah.
So like you've heard of it. It's at the Good Guys. It's bloody
Would you
everywhere.
like a fun fact?
Yes.
I would like to offer you a fun fact that if you are we have a Slack channel at work called Savings of the Week where we send our best deals. Yesterday, I sent in a Breville coffee machine on sale at Costco.
Oh, money win. But I already have one.
I know, but like,
I already have one.
Look
She's
at our
black.
two
She's
shares.
sleek.
Our direct
I love
shares
her.
are collaborating.
And I was like, hold on. I haven't been operating in this space of at-home coffee machines.
Yeah.
You're lucrative.
And they are like so like they're so easy to use. Like the average consumer can use a Breville coffee machine at home and they make really good coffee.
Yeah, but we're not talking like they just do coffee machines.
They do
like toasters, blenders, like coffee, literally
An industry
all of these
leader.
things. Yes, but they're also like not, I wouldn't say they're like the most high end. They're also not the most.
They're a middle ground.
Yeah, they're like the perfect
They're the
middle
fancy
ground.
thing that you can afford. It's
Yeah,
like
so-
a little bit bougie. You're not getting the Kmart coffee machine. You've splashed out for the Breville, but it's not like
And
a
everybody
DeLonghi.
that has a Breville is
Loves a
listening right
Breville.
now and they are raving about it because you guys are cult members in my DMs.
You can tamp the Breville. And if
I
you
can't
feel like
wait.
a barista,
Come over to my house.
I can't
Mine
wait.
self-tamps. Stop
Okay.
it. Anyway,
Bougie.
so it's a well-known Australian brand.
Yep.
And when I started looking on TikTok and I started looking online, it's starting to gain a little bit of an international presence.
Okay.
So
Expansion.
expansion. Also, Cosy Lives, we're all looking at having a coffee machine at home.
Because you can justify the expense of a coffee machine because it's cheaper than getting coffee out every day.
Yeah, and I mean, I made the news for being rude about that guy's coffee that was $7 a cup.
news.
Yeah, I was on the news and
proud
sorry,
of you.
$7 a cup
It
for
is
the
crazy.
smallest cup is wild.
I wonder how much I paid for coffee this morning.
So I feel like so many more of us are looking at being at-home
Sustainable.
baristas. And if I start deep diving into it, reports show that Australians are increasingly choosing to own high-end Breville machines to save money and upgrade their like at-home game. So
that's
they're
what
like
I
me.
do.
We're moving from a pod machine to the Breville.
Because it's a little bit fancy, but you can justify the expense rather than the $7 coffee every day.
Exactly. And in the first half of 2025, the year ending December 2024, Breville made, and they're probably real salty about this because it's just off, but $997.5 million in revenue. So
Nothing
right
to
off a
blink
billion,
at,
like
yeah.
you would have been a little bit, if you were the
They were
CEO, you would
almost
have been like, what the heck?
billionaires.
Yeah. But that's up 10% from the year before.
That's really good because that's a very saturated market.
Their profit grew by 16%, reaching, $97.5 million. And that's mostly what? No, it's coffee bag, but mostly due to coffee machine sales.
Wow.
So like it's not the toasters, it's not the blenders, it's the coffee
like,
machines.
You don't think, like when I think of Breville,
Yeah.
I don't just think of the coffee machine. Like I think of everything they do, but it's interesting to think that
And
that's
it's been around for years. Like my mum still has her Brevilles.
the Breville Sunbeams.
Exactly. And it also has so much expansion potential in emerging markets. So like it's starting to be looked at by China. South Korea are interested. Australians are known for being coffee snobs. So a coffee machine from Australia is becoming quite a
And a coffee machine in Melbourne. Wow.
Yep. And even the Middle East, like they already have a coffee culture, but they're looking at us.
Yeah.
So in South Korea, which you absolutely love,
South Korea.
where they switched to direct distribution in 2022, their market share jumped, which is, by the way, these might sound like small numbers, but it's actually massive, from 4% to 7%.
Yeah.
In a country that is arguably not coffee motivated. And now they're trying the same approach in China. So they're growing internationally.
They're innovating.
Massive opportunity. And then UBS, which is like a bank, they said that they expect Breville's income to double, like more than double, from $1.7 billion in the financial year of 2025 to $4 billion next year.
Wow. Putting that on my watch list.
Sorry, all about coffee. I made the news for Coffeegate and now I'm investing in coffee.
Perfect.
That man told me to get a real job. This is a real job, isn't it?
I sometimes think that I don't have a real job, except that I have a job.
Yeah, I honestly don't believe
People
us
complain
either.
about their jobs and I'm like, oh, I actually can't relate to these
and
issues.
their forecasted like margin of profit is only going to increase because obviously the more they're developing, the like more they can save and the more profit they're going to make.
A win is a win.
And while Breville is already a profitable company, I would say it trades at a very high valuation, so 35 times forward earnings. So investors, they are paying a premium for its growth potential, which is why I haven't purchased
It's
yet.
slightly overvalued.
Yeah, and I don't want to buy overvalued stuff, but also Breville,
But you
good
see
job.
the growth potential, which is like...
And like, I love this coffee machine, so low key.
It's like your Costco.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, sorry, I see the hype. Their share price, I would say relatively accessible. I mean, it's $35.56 as of today.
Beautiful.
And its return over the last year has been 15.75%.
Wow.
So like, sorry.
Not bad.
If you're going to buy a coffee machine and then you get it on sale, invest the difference in the share price and then you're basically making money by making coffee at home.
And your coffee machine is paying you.
Yes.
A win is a win.
A win is a massive win. I want to move on from this though, because like I could talk about my coffee machine till the cows come home and you could definitely talk about Costco forever.
Call me anytime and I'll tell you.
Want to talk about like quickly before we end, because I feel like we've been yapping for ages, wildcard shares.
Yes.
So what is something that you reckon is like a wild card?
Okay, so on my wild card list, and the reason it's my wild card is it's not that profitable at the moment, but it is something and
Paradigm?
No, definitely not. I'm a paradigm hater. It's something that we all know and love, but it's Adore Beauty.
Love.
They are on the ASX with the ticker code ABY. And they obviously...
yours is more sexy than my wild card.
I know.
Mine's like real rogue.
Okay, well, I've gone sexy. The key numbers that you should care about are the FY24 revenue, which is $195.7 million, which is
They do be
crazy.
slaying, and they have retail stores now.
Yeah, so that's where they're expanding into retail, which is why it's on my wild card, because it's currently not that profitable. But I think their like retail expansion is really going to help them, because in Australia, obviously we have Sephora, but I feel like no one cares about Sephora in Australia. We care about Mecca.
Yeah.
We love Mecca. And I think Adore Beauty dabbling in that space, they're my favorite online retailer when it comes to beauty.
Really? See, I'm still a Mecca cult member. And
I'm
like
not.
their stores are like not stores. They're like full experiences.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how you would compete with that.
I loved Mecca, do still love Mecca, still shop at Mecca regularly, but I think with Adore Beauty, they offer something a little bit different, and
They
feels
also go on sale, which I go, hold on. And like a lot of the brands that used to, and like this is probably me diving into your wild card, but like a lot of the brands that used to be exclusive to Mecca are now not exclusive, and they are
There's a competitor in the market.
Yeah, like even just like you look at Kerastase, right? That's at Mecca, and I buy that shampoo, but it's often on sale for Adore.
Adore Beauty do really good sales. Like they'll do a 3 for 2 deal, like buy two, get one free.
Stuff too.
So much free stuff. And I feel like
Tim Tams.
That's an experience that like me as a consumer really enjoy, that I'm going to order.
I do want the travel size shampoo. I do
love that. And they do free goodie bags, all of that jazz. And They have so many return customers. And another thing, they have such strong app usage. So 26% of their sales come from their own Adore Beauty app, which I think is a crazy figure. And they have a really good loyalty program, which I think is better than the Mecca one. It's really early in Adore Beauty's profit journey, but I think that soon it'll be like worth it. But I haven't invested in it yet because I think they're still like, I want to watch.
Do they tell me what's their performance?
Let me whip it up for you. I'll get you some live figures. Okay. In the maximum time that it's been on the share market, it's not looking good. Let me tell you, it's not looking good.
But you're like, but I believe in them and I believe in
this
their
mission.
Tins.
So since inception, it IPO'd at $6.92.
Yeah.
And today it's at 76 cents, which is not looking good. However,
so it's an opportunity for me to buy in.
It's an opportunity for you to buy in. Year to date, they're down 14.89%. But we are in this industry. We're in the beauty space. We are beauty consumers and we
we are?
We are. We love the beauty industry. We see Adore Beauty as a market leader.
I see where they're going with it too.
We see where they're going.
And like, I feel like a lot of people, I think that's good. I think that's exciting. So what do you think is going to drive their performance back up? Like you think becoming more sustainable?
I think it's the in-store experience. Like they're opening so many new stores. And I think Mecca is almost pricing themselves out of the market. Sephora, I think I'm not putting them in the equation as like your beauty space to go, like where you're going to go get a beauty product. I think you go to Sephora because they have certain products you need. You go to Sephora overseas. But in Australia, you go to Mecca. Yeah. And I think Mecca is slowly having price increases that might price them out of the market. Whereas I think Adore Beauty is affordable, but still that like luxury experience. So I think in a cost of living crisis, Adore Beauty has more room to grow.
Yeah, I know that's exciting.
So do you have a wild card?
I do, but mine's boring. Mine's not like in the beauty space or something that I'm like,
beautiful?
Sexy. I mean, mine's just like, I feel like a little bit nerdy. And now I'm like, I want to pitch this.
I love a nerd. I love a nerd. Pitch me.
And I'm watching this one because I'm like, not one to run out and invest immediately, but I find it really interesting because I think it's a good example of like innovation and tech coming together. And like, I'm here for the gossip. So
we love the gossip.
So like this is for me an interesting one. It's called Brain Chip. So it's on the ASX as BRN. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of this.
Okay, cool. So it's not as wild as I thought it could be. But for those of you who maybe haven't heard of it, Brain Chip is a Aussie tech company and they are building brain-inspired AI chips called Akida. And it's designed to essentially help smart devices then think for themselves without the need for the cloud. So at the moment—
self-sufficient.
Yeah. And so—
it's giving innovation.
Well, that's why I picked it.
Look at you. You're very smart.
They
got a brain chip?
You to be kind of thinking these chips are going to be faster. They're going to be more energy efficient. There's,
it's giving environmentally friendly.
Yeah, you know how with ChatGPT we're talking
4 litres
of
water every time you search.
Exactly. So a lot of people are kind of looking at this going, oh, this might be the way forward because they're kind of self-sufficient. The stock price, I would say, exploded during the AI hype that happened like way back in, 2022, like late 2022, 2023. And it went from costing 20 cents for a share to $2.40, but it dropped back down. So,
I'm seeing that.
So like, can you not Google it while I'm telling you?
I've just Googled it.
Yeah, I know, because like it makes me look bad. I'm trying to like tell a story here.
But in 5 years, it's looking better.
That's why it's a wild card, okay? So
I understand your wild card. Mine's down 89%, so I can't say
but like
anything.
This is why we haven't purchased, but we're so interested.
Yeah, these are our wild cards. Next year, we're going to come back this time next year and we're going to check how they're going. And hopefully, we are the oracles. We're the Breville oracles.
Call me Warren.
Okay, Warren.
But I think the tech sounds really futuristic.
Yeah.
But the problem with their company is that they're just burning so much cash.
But you have to in like a software and tech space.
You have to burn cash to make cash.
Yeah, they're investing in the company right now. I see it. I see the vision.
I think it's like classic promising tech. And that's why
it's either going to pay off or it's not.
Yeah, and in 2022 when everyone was like, oh my God, this is the next big thing, they all bought in because of hype. They didn't buy in because they looked at the annual reports and then they realized that, this share doesn't pay dividends. This share is actually a money pit. What's going on? And they didn't understand it enough. So it dropped back down as people sold off. But I think the challenge for them now is, okay, you've put a lot of money into this. Like clearly—
Is it going to pay off?
Yeah, like can you now make money from this? Like can you sell it? So I guess today the stock price is still like circling about 20 cents. What was it when you looked it up?
Well, I looked at the year to date.
Because I did these notes yesterday, not not
Yeah,
today.
so the share price today is at it's 20 cents.
Yeah, great.
And it's down year to date 55%. But
You know what? We believe in her still.
and in 5 years, it's up 11%. So it's up it's up 2 cents.
So I mean,
in the past 5 years, it's you're
You know
making
what?
money.
The Queen is where she started.
Yep.
She started at 20 cents. She's back at 20 cents. And I think it's a
Yeah.
good reminder for all of us if we are planning on investing in emerging tech,
It's
you're
risky.
not just betting on innovation. You're
No.
betting on a company and their ability to have a CEO who can manage cash flow, have a CEO who can make decisions around marketing and branding and
Yeah, it's
getting it
more
out
than
there.
just innovation. There's so much more that goes into business.
Yeah, you're betting on timing and
Yeah.
execution. And
Because they could become the market leader. Like right now, ChatGPT, OpenAI, that's the market leader. But if someone out innovates them, they then become, the market leader. And that's what they're trying to do. So it's okay, right now they might be burning through cash, but if you bought it right now and then suddenly tomorrow they say, wow, we've done it. It's all working. It costs X amount less. It's doing this. The stock price could be up 7,000% tomorrow, but we don't know.
yeah, and we don't know what we don't know. But I think it's guys, you have some pretty cool ideas.
I'm watching.
And I'm sitting back going, can you make this make money? Can you turn your cool
Yeah.
ideas into revenue?
It's giving penny stock in the best way. We're getting to watch
Yeah,
on and
but,
see maybe that they can do it.
Just because you got a cool idea doesn't mean you can make money
because
from
you've got to
it.
be
And,
able to
that's
execute
hard.
it. Yep.
Yeah,
People can
so-
come up with ideas every day.
And if you listened to our Should I Invest in AI episode, I think you'll remember when we said we're at the show don't tell moment for a lot of these AI companies. And that's kind of where BrainChip is at the moment. So they're just trying their best, okay? And I'm watching.
6th of August next year, we're going to check.
Yeah, we'll have to check in. But I haven't invested in this. In fact, it's going to take a fair bit.
Maybe we'll put $5 in just
I'm
in
not
case.
even going to do that. I'm if I've got $5 to invest, is it going to be in BrainChip? Probably not. It's probably going to be in Adore Beauty because you sold it so well. But no, I would just dump it into
Giving
an
the
ETF.
prices right.
Yeah. So there's a few things I'd want to see from BrainChip if I was to invest. So I'd want to see consistent revenue growth. So you don't have to outperform what you've spent, but I just want to see that growth.
Yeah, you got to
year.
wait a couple more earnings reports to see whether that aligns to your values.
Also, great technology, Akita or whatever.
Girl boss.
Sorry, which products is it in yet?
Yeah.
I want to see it in some big
Tangibly.
brand names.
We wanna
I
hold
want to
it
see
and
it
feel
being
it.
used. I want to see them collaborating with big companies. I want if Amazon picked it up and said, oh, we've put this in our Echo.
Perfect.
But do you know what I mean? I'd be like, oh shit,
then
it's
that's
actually,
but then those are the
it's
things.
scalable.
If that was in an Echo tomorrow, then the stock price will go up.
Exactly.
But you don't know until you know.
Exactly. And at the moment, if you look at their annual report, they're burning through cash more than what they're making. And I would like to not just see them have revenue growth, but where's your plan for a path
Believe
to
in the path,
profitability?
yeah.
At what point?
Where's your yellow brick road?
Yeah. And they might say, oh, it's still 7 years off. But at the 7-year point, we know because we've been doing this and we're proving
this
ourselves.
is where it's going.
Yeah. And then I guess execution milestones, they haven't really, they're all we've got cool ideas and we're doing cool things. And I think that's where that jump to $2.40 happened because people were like, oh, that sounds sick. But are you hitting your delivery targets? Can you please start reporting on those? Are you actually getting this hardware that you're building and innovating on? How many are you sending out? If so, where? It doesn't have to be in something that I know of, but
It could be in your Breville coffee machine.
But are people buying this shit? Because
Yeah.
I can't see people buying this right now.
Marketing also helps.
And I also want to see they're talking about a lot of tools that they're going to release, but they haven't released. So
It's all talk, no walk.
yeah. So I
We'll
guess
see. They're on our watch
I'm
list
just
for a
watching
reason.
them, and that's why they're a bit of a wild card.
But we
because
will
I'm just
check
not
back
sure.
in these. I will track them. I'll pop them all in a spreadsheet today with
I know
their
you
share
will.
price. And then in a year's time, we'll come back and see
I'm
how they've
scared
done.
for that because I'll be yeah.
I
so
hope I
picked
outperform you.
a brain chip and a coffee machine.
And I've gone
you
for the
will
sexy ones.
outperform me.
A Costco and Adore Beauty.
Honestly, they're way more fun.
They're really sexy.
All right. I feel like we've been yapping for ages. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
You're very
letting
welcome.
me, I guess, peek inside that very well-researched brain of yours. I feel like you and I are on the same page. This is why we're always have you seen Breville? Have you seen this? Have
We're
you
in a
seen
weird parallel of crazy.
when people, so my best friend Harriet and I, we send each other TikTok videos of ducks and food.
Yeah.
And then there's you and I sending each other TikToks on NVIDIA.
It's just random things, okay? It's an interesting life. And the Garn. If anyone works at the Garn and wants to send us on the Garn, please.
Honestly, I was very confused you didn't pick a train company.
I would pick a train company, but it's not my journey at the moment.
But you will journey on a train.
I would love to journey on a train.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, don't worry. We are absolutely not done yet on this topic. We have a whole heap more investing episodes coming up with Brooke because, the second you guys were so excited about the first episode, I was like, why aren't we capitalizing on this? Get Brooke on. Let's do more investing content because clearly, you've shown that you've got the range.
Yes.
And if you loved this chat, please make sure that you're following our show, that you are leaving nice little reviews.
And send us some DMs of questions.
Yes, please. Like if you are interested in chats like these and you got to the end of this episode and you're like, heck yes, I want more, and you've got questions, tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And also keep your eye on the feed for any new drops. And guys, I'll see you on Friday.
Goodbye, divas.
Bye.
The advice shared on She's on the Money is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. She's on the Money exists purely for educational purposes and should not be relied upon to make an investment or financial decision. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the PDS, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored towards your needs. Victoria Devine and She's on the Money are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd ABN 321 649 27708 AFSL 451289.